What's up, guys? Swift here, covering everything Chicago Bears. There was a Montez Sweat narrative going around that I just had to address, and then I briefly wanted to discuss where we are in this rebuild. Let's get right into it. So many guys from the national media who get paid to talk about football for a living went on record criticizing the Montez Sweat trade, saying the Bears could have waited till free agency and then signed him there and saved our second-round pick. This is simply not true. Montez Sweat was never going to hit free agency. I talked about this multiple times. But in order for him to be traded, the team trading for him wanted to work out a new contract. If the Bears didn't make the trade, then the Atlanta Falcons or another team would have traded for him and signed him to pretty much the same contract. Montez Sweat was never going to hit free agency. We have Colin Cowherd's, Andrew Brandt, and Michael Lombardi's of the world telling millions of fans that he would have, when it's simply not true. Our national media coverage needs to be better. It's just simply a fact that Montez Sweat was not going to be a free agent. So it's really weird hearing the media criticize the Bears for it. I mean, I've explained it here before, but this isn't Madden. This isn't fantasy football. Remember last year's free agency? Daron Payne was going to be a free agent, right? That's what all the national media guys continued saying. But he ended up getting franchise tagged and signed a big deal in Washington. But what about the other free agents that Ryan Poles actually wanted to bring to Chicago, like Draymond Jones and Javon Hargrave, who chose to go elsewhere? That's just it. Free agency's a crapshoot. But second off, Montez Sweat was just never going to hit free agency. Anyone telling you that is trying to sell you on a narrative, period. But I've also heard some people giving up on Montez Sweat already because he didn't get a sack in Sunday's game. Man, some of our fans are crazy. Montez led our team in pressures with 4 and had a 16% pressure rate and an average of 2.73 seconds to pressure. He played very well. I also wanted to briefly address where we are in this rebuild. I think a lot of fans and media guys just don't understand what a real rebuild is. All they care about are wins and losses. And they are saying that this year's Bears roster is worse than last year's because our record is worse. Last year, the Bears started 3-4. This year, we're 2-7. So without context, people say we are worse than we were last year. But last year's team finished 3-14. This team shouldn't finish 2-15. And I do not think we are even close to being worse than we were last year. That's just simply untrue. We've been devastated by injuries. Our 5 starting offensive linemen still haven't played one single snap together yet. This is still a rebuild. Over half of our roster are either rookies, second-year guys, or players new to the team this year. You can't have that much turnover and expect the entire team to just gel overnight. This is a rebuild. It takes time to turn things around. The Chicago Bears haven't actually did a full rebuild in over 30 years. They always try to cut corners and sign quick fixes in free agency. Usually that makes fans happy in the offseason before the overpaid free agents flame out and we fail to win anything substantial. Ryan Poles is doing a real rebuild here. A full teardown and a full rebuild. The roster's full of rookies and young, athletic, exciting players all over the place. Give them some time. I said it all offseason and all of last year that this rebuild is going to take a couple of seasons. I love the direction this franchise is headed right now, though. They just need to continue building and adding more talent to the roster. This offseason should be a perfect opportunity for that. Ryan Poles is armed with 2 first-round picks that could potentially be in the top 5 or top 10. He also has a ton of cap space, and I think this team is going to play much better going forward, especially if Justin Fields returns on Thursday night. Stay tuned, guys. Please remember to hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.